بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So we're continuing and we're moving on to المأمور به. And we're going to discuss more details regarding this. So if we go on, we say here, look, we look at the Amr. We said in the Amr we have the Amir, we have the Sigha of the Amr, the Hay'ah. And we mentioned regarding this that there's two things in here. One is that in this states wujub, the haqiqi meaning of Amr is wujub, and then you have qara'in to show this haqiqi, the majazi meaning. And the muqtada of Amr is adam al-takrar. And the ma'mur bihi is a person. Some of this will come up later on in the end of the book. Now we're discussing ma'mur bihi. In regards to ma'mur bihi, what we are discussing is so we have here ma'mur bihi is two types. Mutlaqun anil waqt and muqayyadun bil waqt. Meaning, instead of saying waqt, say waqtin al-waqt al-mu'ayyan. When we waqt al-waqt al-mu'ayyan. What does that mean? That it has to be carried out in a specific time. Or not, because everything is done in time, isn't it? It exists in time. So when it says mutlaq anil waqt, mean there is no specific time. Mutlaq, unrestricted from any specific time. Muqayyadun bil waqt is restricted to a specific time. Are you following me? Yes? Now look at this. So what would be the example of mutlaq anil waqt? There is no specific time for this. Let's say, for example, dhikr. A similar example, dhikr. For example, ghusl. For him, things like this. Yes? And muqayyadun bil waqt, salah, fasting. Then zakah, hajj, we'll discuss as we go along, inshallah. You understand? Okay. So now we have here al-ma'mur bihi mutlaqun anil waqt. And we say al-ma'mur bihi, the thing that you are commanded to do. The thing that you are commanded to do can either be, what can it be? It can be unrestricted from any time. What can it be? Unrestricted from any time, meaning there's no time limit for it. There's no it has to be done in a particular time. The other one is muqayyadun bihi. What is it? Muqayyadun bihi, meaning it is restricted to a particular, a fixed time. It must be carried out within this fixed particular time. Acha, what's the hukam of this? So if you got a mutlaq, meaning it's not restricted to a particular time, it's not confined to a particular time. In this situation, what happens? The hukam of this is what? أن يكون الأداء واجبا على التراخي بشرط ألا يفوته في العمر. So now we have two words here. We have here at-tarahi, and the opposite of tarahi is al-fawr. Let's probably keep it quduri already. We have wajib al-tarahi and wajib al-fawr. Wajib al-tarahi means delay. It is wajib. So if something is ma'mur bihi, you're commanded to carry this action out. If it is mutlaq anil waqt, there is no restricted time. It's called wajib al-tarahi. It's wajib, but there is rakha is to like loose. Is wajib loosely, meaning and bisharti on the condition that you do not miss it out any time during your life. As long as you carry out in your lifetime, you would say he has completed the wajib and is no qada. And the opposite of wajib al-tarahi is what? It's called wajib al-fawr, fawran, immediately. Okay? So if something is mutlaq anil waqt, is not restricted to a particular time, the ada will become wajib whenever you want, loosely, meaning you're not confined to a particular time. However, the condition is that you must not miss it at any time during your life. As long as you fulfill this action once during your time, what happens? You have fulfilled the wajib. Mithal, you have two examples here. وَعَلَى هَذَا قَالَ مُحَمَّدٌ فِي الْجَامِعِ. Imam Muhammad rahmatullahi alayhi says, لَوْ نَذَرَ أَن يَعْتَكِفَ شَهْرًا. What does he say? He does nadhar, he takes an vow that I will do i'tikaf for 1 month. I will do i'tikaf for 1 month. It says mutlaqun an waqtin mu'ayyan. That's my own little thing. Meaning, when it says shahran, so we know how long for, but it doesn't say which month it has to be. So it has to be carried out in time, and it's carried for 1 month, 30 days, or 29 days, depending on the lunar moon for him. But it doesn't say which month. So because this is mutlaq anil waqt, you understand? So when I say mutlaq anil waqt, as I said, every action has to take place in a span of time. Even salah takes place in a span of time. For example, if a person says, لو كان كذا صليت ركعتين. If such and such a thing happened, I perform 2 rakats. So 2 rakats will take at least 3-4 minutes, no? 2 minutes at least, 3 minutes at least. Fahim? But which 2-3 minutes, that's mutlaq. Fahim? So when he said, يَعْتَكِفَ شَهْرًا, he's going to fast for 1 month. It'll take 1 month, but which month? That's flexible. Do you understand? That is flexible. So له, it is permissible for him أن يعتكف أي شهر شاء, because it's مطلق عن الوقت المعين. Do you understand? أجا. ولو نذر أن يصوم شهرا. He says, I will do another of us. I will fast a month, not itikaf a month. I'll fast for a month. له أن يصوم أي شهر شاء. Same masla. Instead of itikaf is صوم. Why? Because it's مطلق عن الوقت. Understood? أجا. Some more examples. What examples we have? وفي الزكاة وصدقة الفطر والعشر. Zakat. Yes, we know what zakat is. Sadaqatul fitr, the sadaqah that you have to give on the day of fitr. Wal-ush, the 1/10 that you have to give on your crops and produce. This already in Quduri. So that's a khabar muqaddam. That's a khabar muqaddam. In these things, al-madhhab al-ma'loom, according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi, and not according to Imam Hanifa, but according to the majority of the scholars, the known madhhab is أنه لا يسير بالتأخير مفرطا. That if he delays it, he will not be mufrit. Mufrit is one who has kind of left a shortcoming, not fulfilled the rights completely. Are you following me? Yes. المذهب المعلوم أنه لا يسير بالتأخير مفرطا. Why? Because it's wajib. Why is it not mufrit? It's wajib على التراخي. And there's no fixed time for a wajib al-tarahi. Fahimt? As long as he doesn't miss it in his whole umrah. Yes, and if he delays it for the sake of like greed or I don't want to do it, then that's not good. But let's say, for example, okay, I'm not going to give zakat right now because everybody gives zakat. Let's say, for example, you live in a village, you live in a city, and everybody gives zakat straight. Let's say, for example, everybody says use Ramadan for calculation. So if I give all zakat now, then I won't have anything extra. Throughout the year, people have need. So let's say somebody comes to me in Rabiul Awwal. Then that time people will not have zakat to give. And you may be a person who's really needy then. I'm going to delay to Rabiul Awwal. I'm going to delay to Shawwal. Or not Shawwal, but Sha'ban or Rajab. Do you understand? It's okay, that's fine. For him, if it's not a good niyyah, not a good reason, it's not good. But it's not mufrid, meaning has not violated any ruling. Because it's wajib al-tarahi. Yes? For him? Acha. فَإِنَّهُ, and based on this, لَوْ هَلَكَ النِّسَابِ سَقَطَ الْوَاجِبِ. If the nisab becomes saqit, halak, what happens now? Saqat al-wajib. What he's saying here is there's a nisab for zakat. What's the nisab for zakat? You have to have, like, say, for example, 40 dinar or 200 dirham. And then there's a nisab in the sheep and the camel, etc. Now, let's say, for example, he has 200 dirham. He has 200 dirham. Correct? And 1 year's elapsed. 1 year has elapsed. If 1 year has elapsed, now it becomes what? So 200 is nafsul wujub. And when 1 year elapses, now it becomes compulsory upon you. Let's say now, for example, the nisab becomes halak. The 200 dirham that he had got destroyed. It's destroyed, lost. So the wajib is saqit. Because we sing is wajib al-tarahi. It wasn't wajib there and then. If it was wajib there and then you say it still remains in his responsibility, like farad, like salah. But because the wajib al-tarahi, what happens? What happens when it's wajib al-tarahi? It delays. So when it became halal, we say, well, the wajib becomes saqit. Fahimt? Similarly, wal-hanis idha dhahaba maluhu. وَالْحَانِسِ إِذَا ذَهَبَ مَالُهُ. If a person takes an oath, yes? إِذَا ذَهَبَ مَالُهُ وَصَارَ فَكِيرًا كَفَّرَ بِالصَّوْمِ. Let me explain this masala first. Quran font is not loaded on this website, on this computer. Allah says, لَا يُؤَاخِذُكُمُ اللَّهُ بِاللَّغْوِ فِي أَيْمَانِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يُؤَاخِذُكُمْ مَا قَدَّمُوا الْأَيْمَانِ. And we explained before, يَمِينَ مُنْعَقِدَةً, يَمِينَ غَمُوسَ, يَمِينَ مُنْعَقِدَةً, يَمِينَ. So, we said here that one is you take a yameen mun'aqidah. yes, is if you take an oath, فهمت? You take an oath that I will do such and such a thing, or I will not do such and such a thing. Yes? So one is, you just say by mistake, like people, regarding, I'm not going to discuss lagwa now because it's different tafsir, and then it's ikhtilaf in ahnaf, what does yamin lagwa mean? But there's two types of yamin that we're going to look at here. One is ghamus and one is munaqida. Yamin al-ghamus is that qasam you took, and you took an qasam knowing that what your qasam was a lie. That's called yamin al-ghamus, meaning you're drowned in sin. We say there's no kafara for this. Such a big sin that's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's no kafara. You took Allah's name and you lied, there is no forgiveness for this. That's called yamin al-ghamus. For example, wallahi, I did not do this, and you done it. Or wallahi, I didn't do it, and you did it. That's yamin al-ghamus. It's a big sin. That's between you and Allah. Yamin al-munaqida is a future event. I will do such and such a thing, or I will not do such and such a thing. That's called what? Yamin al-munaqida. So if you do yamin al-munaqida, and then you broke the qasam, yes, then what's the ruling here? فَكَفَارَتُهُ إِطْعَامُ عَشْرَةِ مَسَاكِينَ. So you have to do it'am. Option 1. Oh, yes. So you have to do it'am عَشْرَةِ مَسَاكِينَ. Or kiswa. Or you close them, you feed them, or you free a slave. Fahim? So you got three options. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ. If you don't have any of the above three, then you do what? Sorry. Then you can go on to what? What can you go on to? Siyam. Fahim? So what we say in Yamin al-Munaqida, the ruling is you got three options first. Either you feed 10 slaves, you clothe, not slaves, you feed 10 poor people, you clothe 10 people, or you free a slave. And only after those three, if you're not able to do those three, then what happens now? Meaning you don't have enough money to do those three. Then what do? You fast for 3 days. Now what he's going back to saying here, wal hanith, if you take an oath and he was rich, he had wealth, what's the default for him? Not freeing. One of the first three. Because any of these three. So means khayar. So either this, or this, or this. Any of the first three. You got option A, option B, or option C. Any of the first three. But now he take a qasam. He broke his qasam, yamin al-munaqida. Then he became poor. Zahaba maluhu. Now what do we say? Is there a fixed time where you have to do kafara? You have to do kafara. The it'am will take place in time. The kiswa will take place in time. And the tahrir al-qaba will take place in time. Yes, but it doesn't say it's not fixed which time you have to do it in. It's no waqt mu'ayyan, you have to do it within 5 days, within 10 days, within a month, within a year. As long as, obviously delaying it necessarily is not a good thing, but if you delay it and you don't miss it, or once you do it before you die, you completed the wajib. Do you understand? Does that make sense? You completed the wajib. But when is it? Is wajib at what? Tarahi, not al-fawr. So if now, he took a qasam, he broke the qasam, and that time what did he have? In 2023, what did he have? He was ghani. He had wealth. In 2024, what happened now? Qasam is the kafara is still pending. His money all vanished. He lost all the money. Money got lost. Money got stolen. He becomes a faqir. Now, if it was wajib al-fawr, you say, well, at that time, how was it wajib? One of the option, block A, block 1, not block 2. So you say, well, it doesn't matter what happens. It becomes compulsory. It became compulsory upon you like that. So therefore, you have to do that. I don't care if they become poor or not. I mean, so wajib al-tarhahi, we say, no, when does it become wajib? When he's doing it. When he's doing it, what is he now? He's poor, he's faqir. So because he's faqir now, he can do kafara bi-sawm. Because what's the condition of kafara bi-sawm? Man lam yajid. And because he's doing it in 2024 when he became poor. So now, it becomes wajib then, like wajib al-tarahi, so the condition that he's in, that condition will be mu'tabar, not the previous condition. And if it's wajib al-fawr, then the condition is going to be based upon what? When it became compulsory. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Example 7. وَعَلَى هَذَا لَا يَجِبُ قَضَاءُ الصَّلَاةِ فِي الْأَوْقَاتِ الْمَكْرُوهَةِ. Based upon this ruling, we're saying that if there's a waqt makruh, qada does not become compulsory then. لأنه لما وجب مطلقا وجب كاملا فلا يخرج عن الأهدة بأداء الناقص. That, okay, let's look at this first. A person, he missed his Zuhr Salah. What did he do? Now, when he misses Zuhr Salah, the Zuhr Salah is what? Kamil. Meaning it became compulsory upon him. Kamil, mutlaqan, kamilan. Meaning there's no shortcoming in this. Are you following me? Like the Salah, a full, proper, 100% perfect Salah is required. Do you understand? When you perform a Salah in a makruh time, the Salah has nuqsan. Why? In the time. If you perform the Salah in the Isfirar Shams, in the Tulu Shams, or in the Zawali Shams, not Zawal, but Istiwa Shams, at those times is makruh times. Are you following me? So now at those times when you're fulfilling the Salah, it becomes what? It's makruh, and it has what's kind of sifa is it? It has nuqs. It's nuqsan, it's shortcoming in this. Are you following? Now if you're saying here, you miss Zuhr Salah on Monday afternoon, you miss Zuhr. How is it wajib upon you? How is it wajib upon you? Kamil or naqis? Kamil. Now you woke up, you missed Zuhr, you woke up before Asr. In the Isfirar Shams, before the sun, just before sunset. Now, if you perform it then, how would you be performing it? Kamil or naqis? Huh? Naqis. So what we're saying here is that you have to fulfill it with the sifa that it became. So the same way when you have wajib al-tarahi in kafara, we look at the time it became compulsory. When the person became poor and he's doing kafara then, what's his sifa? Sifa is man lam yajid fa siyam thalathat ayyam. So therefore you consider that situation. In his salah, what happened in salah? It became compulsory when? Kamil. The sifa became wajib in the first time. Yes, it's wajib. Yes, so if you look at it here, let's look at these two things here. Let's see if we can do a graph here. Okay. This is Zuhr Salah. Okay, this is Asr Salah. Now in Zuhr Salah, he missed it. He missed this Zuhr Salah, yes? So the qaza of this. But it became compulsory how? When did it become compulsory? But did it become compulsory? He's doing takbir here, he's doing takbir tahrima, qaza, here. Is it become compulsory here? It became compulsory here. It became compulsory here in this slot. And how is that compulsory? Kamil or naqis? Kamil. If he performs it, how does it become? Naqis. So it's not going to count. As opposed to, let's go to kafara. Now when he's doing kafara, he's ghani here and he's faqir here. He's a hanith. When he's fulfilling the responsibility, he has to do hanith. When he starts, if he fulfills it here, how is it becoming? What state is he in? Well, kamil, or what state is he in really? Is he ghani of ghina faqr? Is he yajid or man lam yajid? Yajid, so how does he have to fulfill it? The first three options, it'am, kiswa or tahrir raqaba. If he fulfills it here, it becomes wajib here. And what state is he in there? Faqr. So therefore what's compulsory upon him now? Thalathat ayyam. So the wujub comes with it right there. It's wajib al-tarahi. Whenever he fulfills it, becomes wajib then. So you look at his situation then. As opposed to salah, because salah is muqayyid. Because salah is muqayyid, meaning it became compulsory here, not there. Do you understand what he's saying here? وَعَلَى هَذَا. So based on this principle in wajib al-tarahi or wajib al-fawr, you have to look when does it become wajib. And based on the sifa of the ma'mur, the person who's carrying out the action, or the ma'mur bihi, you consider at the time of the ada, of the wujub. So in Zuhr, the wujub doesn't come about before Maghrib. When does the wujub come about? In Zuhr time. And in the Hanif, when does the wujub come about? Just before he fulfills the kafara. So that's why there's a difference. In the first scenario, you consider this state. And the second condition, you can consider this state. Because this is the wajib al-fawr, or you can say this is muqayyad bil-waqt, and this is mutlaq anil-waqt. Does that make sense? Are you guys following? Achha. You understand? Going further, فَيَجُوزُ الْأَسْرُ Yes. فيجوز الأسر أي أسر اليوم. The asr of that day. Why? Because the asr of that day becomes compulsory when? Not begin time, when he's performing it, in the time. If so, in the ihmirar or isfirar shams, ihmirar shams, meaning just before Maghrib. So when the sun from yellow becomes very like a dull color before Maghrib, if it's that very same day's asr, can you perform it? Because why? It becomes compulsory, says Allahu Akbar. And that time what's the sifan? Kamil or naqis? Naqis. So he's performing as it became wajib. But the previous day's asr, la yajuzu qada'an. Because the previous day's asr, how was it compulsory? Qada, how was it compulsory? Kamil. So you have to perform it kamil. And now it's what? What time is it now? Naqis. Does that make sense to everybody? Jay, what's the question? Go ahead. So the question is that the qada, is that not wajib qada'an as well? If you miss asr, we say, well, it becomes, asr has two times. If you look at it here, asr is asr time starts, correct? So this is kamil. And then in the ihmirar is shams, when the shams becomes like right, green, this becomes what now? What kind of time is this? This is naqis. If you perform it here, it becomes naqis. If the time elapses, then the whole thing becomes a sabab. Then we consider the kamil. If you miss the qaza altogether, if you start performing it here, you wake up before Maghrib. You perform it, say, well, it became wajib, what? Naqis, so you fulfill naqis. But if you miss it altogether, you perform it here, say, well, look at the whole time was what? And the whole majority was what? Kamil. So then it becomes wajib kamil. Acha, moving on. From the Imam of Ahnaf, there's ikhtilaf. Imam al-Karki, Imam al-Karhi, rahmatullahi alayhi. His opinion is أن موجب الأمر المطلق الوجوب على الفور. He says the default of the amr is what? على الفور, not على التراخي. It's immediately. Yes? So according to him, يأثم بالتأخير. So what's happening here is والخلاف معه في الوجوب. So what's wajib? Yes? ولا خلاف ولا خلاف في أن المسارعة hastening. There's no اختلاف between us and Imam Kharki that hastening to do i'timar, meaning what? To fulfill the wajib is mandubun ilayha. What is it? Mandub. Yes, it's mandub. If you hasten, that's good. That's what we say. Do it better. The quicker you do it, immediately you do it is better. There's no ikhtilaf regarding that. But when does it become wajib? Ala al-fawr al-tarahi. According to us, it's wajib al-tarahi. According to Imam Kharki, rahmatullahi alayhi. So what's the difference? If you delay, according to him, you are. According to us. But if you delay, is it qadha? He says no qadha. So yes. So when does it become wajib? Immediately or later on? So both times is ada. But he says by delaying it you get sin. And we say that it's by delaying it you've left a mandub, a good encouraged act of doing it quickly and immediately, but you're not sinful. If you pass away by doing it, everybody says you're sinful. So if you do it immediately, everybody says you're doing a good thing. If you miss it altogether in your whole life, everybody says you are sinful. If you delay it and you still fulfill it in your life, Imam Karki says you're sinful for delay, and we say you're not sinful for delay. But it's asa'a, he's done something bad but not sinful. Fahimt? And inshallah we'll do al-Muqayyad bil-Waqt tomorrow, inshallah. Everybody following? Any questions? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So now we're moving on to the second type of the Ma'mur bihi, which is Muqayyad bil-Waqt. So previously we mentioned this Mutlaq anil Waqt. And Mutlaq anil Waqt means that the action does not have to be carried out within a particular time. As long as the person carries out the action, it's fine. There's no time limit, no frame. It will take place within time, because everything takes place within time, but it's not going to be limited to a specific time. Okay? Okay. وَأَمَّا الْمُوَقَّتْ فَنَوْعَانِ. Now this muwaqqat itself, meaning any action, any ma'mur bihi, which is limited or confined to a specific time, we can categorize it into two categories. Now if you look at it here, what do we have? Let's imagine this square is our waqtus salah. Okay? Now, when and the ma'mur bihi is salah itself. So a salah can fit into here. What can fit into here? A salah can fit into here. Okay? Then another salah can also fit. Another salah can also fit, and a fourth salah can also fit. So when we look at this salah itself, we see the particular time for salah. Let's say, for example, it was salatul dhuhr, it was salatul maghrib, it was salatul isha. Now this ma'mur, you can have multiple ma'mur bihi fitting in here. What can we have? Multiple ma'mur bihi can fit in that. It doesn't encompass the entire time. When the salah is muwaqqat, it has to be carried out within a particular time. However, it doesn't encompass the entire time. And other salawat can be performed in this. As opposed to a sawm. A sawm is confined, like Ramadan, it is confined to a particular time. It has to be carried out on that day. Now, once you carry out this action, it encompasses the whole time. For him, the salah has to be carried out the sawm encompasses the entire time. Now, if you have another sawm can't fit in here. Do you understand the difference between the two of them? So you can only have one of that ma'mur bihi in that particular time. Do you understand? So if you look at it here, now we say you have ma'mur bihi, it can be mutlaqun anil waqt. There is no restricted or confined time for the salah. And number two is muqayyadun bihi. What is it? Muqayyadun bihi. If it's muqayyad bilwaqt, then you have two types. One is calledظرف, one is called المعيار. Now, as-Zarf is literally a container. So what happens, the Ma'mur bihi goes in a container and there's still space left over. And the Mi'yar is like a condition, a criteria. For him, it's a criteria or a condition. So this is an example of Salah. That it is confined to a particular time, and this is an example of Sawm. The difference is here, there is leftover time, and it doesn't encompass the entire time. And there's no leftover time, and there's no space for another similar ma'mur bihi. That's what we're talking here. So based on this, if you have a muqayyad bilwaqt, the zarf. So amma al-muwaqqat fa naw'an. Naw'un yakunu al-waqtu zarfan lil-fi'l. The first type or the first example is where the waqt, the time, is a zarf for the fi'l. And the fi'l you can say here is al-ma'mur bihi. Al-ma'muru bihi. Do you understand? Acha. Hatta, so much so, لا يشترط استيعاب كل الوقت بالفعل أي بالمأمور به المأمور به كالصلاة مأمور به. So, yeah, حتى so, this is the hukam now. Isti'ab encompassing the entire time with that ma'mur bihi is not a condition. You don't have to spend the entire zuhr time in zuhr salah. You don't have to spend the entire maghrib time performing maghrib salah. Like, so salawat is an example of a zarf, where the ibadah takes a time, but no, it doesn't encompass the entire ibadah. Okay, everybody following me so far? Moving on. وَمِنْ حُكْمِ هَذَا النَّوْء. Another ruling of this zarf is أَنَّ وُجُوبَ الْفَعْلِ أَنَّ وُجُوبَ الْفَعْلِ فِيهِ لَا يُنَافِي وُجُوبَ فَعْلٍ آخَرْ فِيهِ مِنْ جِنْسِهِ. That wujub al-fa'li fihi, one action being compulsory in this time, one action being compulsory in this time, la yunafi, it does not negate wujuba fa'lin akhar, the compulsion of another action in it, min jinsi, of the same type. So let's take an example. وَمِنْ حُكْمِ هَذَا النَّوْءِ أَنَّ وُجُوبَ الصَّلَاةِ فِي الظَّرْفِ فِي الْوَقْتِ. To wujub as-salati fil waqti la yunafi wujub salatin ukhra fil waqti. Do you understand? So one salah is compulsory zuhr, the 4 rakats farad. It doesn't mean you can't perform another salah because the zarf is left over time. Hatta, so much so, law nadhara an yusalliya kadha aw kadha rak'atan fi waqti adh-dhuhri lazimahu. If he takes an oath, a vow, that I will perform 2 rakats, 4 rakats, 6 rakats, 8 rakats in dhuhr time. Is that oath valid? It's valid because those extra rakat of dhuhr, or those extra rakat of nafil, does not clash with the dhuhr salah. Do you understand? So therefore, this oath is valid. Yes? Acha. The third hukam. وَمِنْ حُكْمِهِ أَنَّ وُجُوبَ الصَّلَاةِ فِيهِ لا ينافي صحة صلاة أخرى فيه. Similar to the first one. حتى لو شغل جميع وقت الظهر لغير الظهر يجوز. He's saying here that because by default you're allowed to pray multiple salawat, the farad and the nawafil. So now if a person was to perform, as stupid as it is and incorrect as it is, we're not telling you recommendation how to do this. We're just taking a masala. If you were to perform jami'a waqti dhuhri, the entire time of zuhr, li ghayri dhuhr, you then wudu, you perform 2 rakats tahiyatul wudu, and you spend the entire zuhr time in that tahiyatul wudu. You're sinful for delaying your dhuhr. It's lack of fiqh, lack of understanding and stupidity. But is that 2 rakats salatul wudu, is it sahih? It's sahih. Because by default, another salah can be performed in zuhr time. So he performed another salah in zuhr time, which makes it correct. But the other things will make it incorrect. Do you understand? So it's not recommended, it's not even like, it's stupid, and it's wrong, but it will count. It is nafid, it is sahih. وَمِنْ حُكْمِهِ أَنَّهُ لَا يَتَأَدَّى الْمَأْمُورِ بِهِ إِلَّا بِنِيَّةٍ مُعَيَّنَةٍ. Let me explain this first. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Right? An ibadah only becomes an ibadah when you have a niyyah. Okay? Or something that is qa'imun maqam of the niyyah. Okay? So let's say, for example, a person, he is winter. He had a night, winter in UK, the Fajr, Zohar, Subah Sadiq sometimes gets as late as 6 o'clock. And in the Maghrib gets as early as 4 o'clock. Now this person, he had a night shift very late. He went to sleep at what time? 6 o'clock. Then he slept, and then he slept all the way, and he overslept Zohar and Asr and Maghrib, and then he woke up at 5 o'clock. So now he has not eaten, he's not drunk anything, and he's not cohabitated between dawn and sunset. Is that a fast? No, because it only becomes a fast when there's niyyah, or something which is qaim maqam of niyyah, like you sehri. So even though you don't, that is a niyyah basically, we get it? So without any niyyah, it does not become ibadah. Is that clear? This is called nafsun niyyah. What's it called? Yeah, an-niyyatu nafsuha. The niyyah itself. Are you following me? So for example, one is an-niyyatu nafsuha. So you have to make a fast, the intention that I am going to fast, then it becomes a fast. Yes? That's called nafsun niyyah. So one niyyah is the an-niyyatu nafsuha. This is a condition in every ibadah. Let's say, for example, there's a security guard, he works in a haram, and there's some kind of fiasco, la qaddar Allah. They're trying to catch a thief, or they're trying to catch some person who's causing havoc, and they run around the Kaaba 7 times. Yes? This is not tawaf. He went around the Kaaba 7 times, but it's not tawaf, there's no niyyah. So for every ibadah, mahdha, pure ibadah, to become an ibadah, you have to do what? You have to have a niyyah. Correct? That's called a niyyah, called niyyah nafsuha. And in some books it says here, right, nafsun niyyah. I.e., what is nafsun niyyah? This is a niyyah which differentiates a habit from an ibadah. This is a niyyah which differentiates habit from niyyah, makes it into a niyyah, ibadah. The other one is niyyatu ta'yin. What's niyyatu ta'yin mean? You've done the niyyah of your ibadah. But which ibadah are you doing? Which type of ibadah are you doing? Are you following? Let's say, for example, sadaqah. Now, giving a poor person charity, when you give it, there's no need for niyyah, because then it's qaim maqam of niyyah, isn't it, anyways? If you have niyyah, then you have more awareness of Allah's presence, you have more hope of reward, etc. But when you give a poor person something, the da'i is always khair anyways. But your niyyah, this is sadaqatul fitr, this is zakah, this is voluntary charity. So, one is the niyyah itself. The niyyah itself comes about when you see that person, and you thought, I feel bad for the person, let me give him money. That's niyyah nafsuha. Let me help him out. But then what kind of charity is it? Is it zakah or is it nafil? It's sadaqatul fitr. Because niyyatu ta'yin. Yes? One is, you say Allahu Akbar. So normally when you say Allahu Akbar, niyyah is already done in your mind, in your heart. But what are you performing? Tahiyatul masjid, tahiyatul wudu, nafil, farad. That's niyyatu ta'yin. So one is a niyyatu nafsuha, the niyyah itself. And one is a niyyah of ta'yin, to say, okay, which type of this ibadah am I doing? Are you following? So this is a condition when there's muzahama. What is this? A condition when there is muzahama. What does muzahama mean? When there's a possibility of multiple choices. For him. So let's say, for example, you're doing birrul walidain. They're not multiple. You don't have to do niyyah birrul walidain. It happens by itself because when you're doing it, you've learned from when you're younger, you should obey your parents. So therefore, whenever you obey your parents, it becomes what? Birrul walidain. And you don't have to, oh, I'm doing nafil birr, I'm doing farad birr, I'm doing wajib birr. No. But when it's a muzahama, what does zahama mean? Is a crowd, zahma, meaning large crowd. There's opposition or conflicting. Then you have to do niyyah. Because why? It's not muta'ayyan. It's which one are you doing? Are you following? It could be A or B. Are you following? Let's take another example. Let's say there's one person in the class. Do I need to call that? Do I need to say, let's say for example, there's one person called Abdullah in the class. Do I need to say Abdullah Patel or Abdullah Muhammad? It's Abdullah, it's fine. When it's muzahama, two Abdullah, what do you have to say? Abdullah Patel, Abdullah Muhammad. You understand? Then you have to do ta'yeen. Fahimt? Similarly, if there's muzahama in the if there's a muzahama in the ibadah, then you need to do ibadah. You have to do nafsun niyyah for all ibadat, and then you also have to do niyyat ta'yeen. Do you understand? Does that make sense to everybody, this masala? Before you go ahead? Achha. Okay. So let's move on now. Okay. What do we have? We have here. وَمِنْ حُكْمِهِ. If you have a ظرف, the مأمور به is a ظرف for the waqt. لا يتأدى المأمور به إلا بنية معينة. The ma'mur bihi will not be carried out unless you have a niyyah to be fixed, or the niyyah which fix what you are trying to do. Because why? لأن غيره لما كان مشروعا في الوقت. When that same type of ibadah is permissible in the time, لا يتأينه بالفعل. The action that you are doing there and then does not become muta'ayyan. Let me explain this for example. Yes? لأن غيره مشروعا. So غير الظهر. So in Zuhr time, what are you doing? At the time of Zuhr, you are performing غير الظهر. In the time of Zuhr, are you allowed to perform Tahiyatul Masjid? Are you allowed to perform Tahiyatul Wudu? Are you allowed to perform 2 rakats Salatul Haja? Are you allowed to perform this general nafil? Yes. So غيره كان مشروعا في الوقت. In the time of Zuhr, what happens now? You are allowed, it is mashru', permissible to perform other salawat. لا يتأينوا. The 4 rakats that you are reading, بالفعل, by actually starting it, does it become muta'ayyan? What are you praying? First, let's lift his hands. I say, Allahu Akbar. What's he performing? He's got nafsun niyyah because he's performing salah. But which salah is he performing? Tahiyatul Masjid, Tahiyatul Wudu, normal nawafil, the rawatib, the farad. It's not muta'ayyan because there are multiple options. And when you say Abdullah, is it muta'ayyan? No, there's Abdullah Muhammad, Abdullah Patel, Abdullah Funa, Abdullah Fula, Abdullah Funa. It's not muta'ayyan. Do you understand? Everybody understand so far? Is that clear to everybody? Yeah, so therefore you have to have 2 niyyah. Nafsun niyyah and niyyatu ta'yeen. Is it clear? Acha. Somebody will say, well, okay, what if you've only got 4 minutes left for Zuhr? 5 minutes left before Zuhr time ends. What's he going to perform now anyways? Well, he's supposed to perform the farad. So isn't it muta'ayyan now automatically? We say, according to the fiqh, he should be performing Zuhr, but he's got the option. We're not saying perform 2 rakats Tahiyatul Wudu when we've only got 5 minutes left. We're not saying perform nafil. But if he were to perform nafil, he has that choice. He has that choice. Because he has that choice, it's still a muzahama. So even though there's only enough time to perform the farad, by default it is permissible and he's allowed to perform additional salawat. So therefore we will say here now what happens? Even if the time is confined, restricted, narrow, limited, even then you have to do niyyah because by default it is muzahama. Even though he shouldn't perform the nawafil, but he can if he wanted to, for whatever reason, he may be lack of fiqh, lack of understanding, but it is permissible. It counts, and then he gets the sin for delaying the zuhr. That's separate. فهمت? لأن اعتبار النية, because the niyyah to ta'yin, the niyyah of ta'yin, which ibadah you are carrying out, باعتبار المزاحم, when there is muzahim, another ibadah that's possible there and then. There's two people named Abdullah in the class. It's muzahama. There's two salawat you can perform. Nafil or farad. Is muzahama. So the niyyah of ta'yeen is necessary because of the muzahim. وَقَدْ بَقِيَتِ الْمُزَاحَمَةُ إِنْ ضِيقِ الْوَقْتِ. Even though time is confined, there's only enough time to perform the farad, you still have to do what? Do niyyah ta'yeen. Because there is muzahama, it still remains muzahama. Acha. Everybody following so far? This is the zarf. Moving on, the second type, mi'yar. What's mi'yar mean? That the ma'mur bihi, that action you're carrying out takes up the entire time slot. What does it do? It takes up the entire time slot. وَذَلِكَ مِثْلُ الصَّوْمِ فَإِنَّهُ يَتَقَدَّرُ بِالْوَقْتِ. Because it's like sawm. It comprises of time. It encompasses the entire time, which is day. Fahim? So there's no leftover, there's no other. Yes? So we have ma'mur bihi, mutlaq anil waqt, muqayyid bil waqt. Muqayyid bil waqt can be a zarf, and it can be mi'yar. Now, and the zarf is like salah, correct? Now, if it's mi'yar, what is it? Mi'yar. Mi'yar means one ibadah, one time, one ibadah. There's no space for extra. So now we say here, is there going to be muzahama? Well, you see, has the Sharia defined what type is going to occur in that mi'yar or not? If the Sharia has defined what type of ibadah takes place in that time, we say, is there going to be muzahama? No muzahama. And if the Sharia has not fixed a time, then what will happen? There is muzahama. For example, Ramadan. When the day of, okay, let's look at the day, the first of Ramadan. First of Ramadan. What's the ma'mur bihi of the first of Ramadan? Sawm. A sawm is a ma'mur bihi. Is it mutlaqun anil waqt or muqayyadun bil waqt? Muqayyadun bil waqt. Is it zarf or is it mi'yar? Is it mi'yar? Has the Sharia defined in that first of Ramadan which fast is going to be? Yes, no muzahama. So therefore, nafsun niyyah, no niyyah of ta'yeen. Even if you can't do it, the Sharia said it's already fast, it's Ramadan, it's fast, it's Ramadan fast. Qadha of Ramadan. When is Qadha of Ramadan? That's mutlaq anil waqt, it's whenever you want. Yes? Fahim? The Sharia has not said, oh, you have to fast on the 2nd of Shawwal, 3rd of Shawwal, 4th of Shawwal, 5th of Shawwal. Whenever you want, you can do your what? Yeah. If you need a bit more detail, yeah. It's good thinking, but we're not going to go into that now. We're going to open a can of worms. Now because of this, وَمِنْ حُكْمِهِ أَنَّ الشَّرْعَ. If the time is a mi'yar, and the Sharia has specified a time for this, لَا يَجِبُ غَيْرُهُ فِي ذَلِكَ الْوَقْتِ. Because there's a mi'yar, there's no extra, and the Sharia has fixed what ibadah is going to take place in there, no other ibadah can take place then. وَلَا يَجُوزُ أَدَاءُ غَيْرِهِ فِي. And it will not be permissible to carry out any other action. Yes? In that time. Are you following me? Is that clear? Yes? Hatta. So much so, أَنَّ الصَّحِيحَ الْمُقِيمَ. So much so that a person who is sahih, meaning he's not, what is he not? Mareed. If you're mareed, what happens then? You don't have to fast. If you're musafir, do you have to fast? No. So if you're muqim, you're not a musafir. So now what do you have? If you're sahih, you're not ma'adhur from fasting, you're not a musafir, so you have to fast. لو أوقع إمساكه في رمضان عن واجب آخر يقع عن رمضان لا أما نواه. So he's a muqim, he's sahih, he's not ill. He decides for some reason that today I am going to do qadha of last year's Ramadan fast. What did he decide? Now, it's Ramadan. Has the Sharia then ta'yeen of its fast is going to take place? What's the ta'yeen from the Sharia? Today's fast is going to be what? Ramadan. Now, what does he do? He decides he's going to do qadha. What do we say? Because it's a mi'yar, you can't have two options. And the Sharia has fixed what's going to occur. It will be Ramadan, yaqa'u an Ramadan. It will occur as the fast of Ramadan, not what he did niyyah of. Do you understand? because it's متعين from the Sharia and there's no مزاحمة. وإذا اندفع المزاحم في الوقت, when اندفع moved away, removed, when the مزاحم goes away in time, سقط اشتراط التعيين, there's no need for تعيين. So his niyyah is not معتبر. فهمت? Because your niyyah is only معتبر, your niyyah of تعيين is only معتبر when there's مزاحمة. When the Sharia has fixed that today's Ramadan, there's no مزاحمة, so your niyyah لا اعتبار به. فإن ذلك أي النية تعيين, the niyyah of تعيين لقطع المزاحمة is to do what? Remove مزاحمة. ولا يسقط أصل النية, the أصل نية, remember I told you two things, isn't it? The niyyah نفسه, remember I said niyyah نفسها. So أصل النية or we said أصل النية, نفس النية, النية نفسها. ولا يسقط أصل النية, the أصل نية meaning the ibadah, the intent, I am fasting. That has to be there all the time, because without ibadah, in niyyah, nafsun niyyah, aslun niyyah, that's not become saqit, it's not ibadah. But the niyyah ta'yin will become saqit. وَلَا يَسْقُطُ أَصْلُ النِّيَّةِ, the asl niyyah does not become saqit, لِأَنَّ الْإِمْسَاكُ لَا يَصِيرُ صَوْمًا إِلَّا بِالنِّيَّةِ, because this staying hungry or abstaining from those manhiyat doesn't become a fast except you have niyyah. So in Ma'yar, if you go back to the chart again, if it's Ma'yar, you have to look, is the Sharia then ta'yin or not? If the Sharia then ta'yin, is there muzahama? No muzahama, so therefore there's going to be no niyyah to ta'yin necessary. If you do niyyah to ta'yin yourself, la i'tibara bihi. And if there's no ta'yin in the Sharia, like today, fast today, you have to niyyah ta'yin. Why? Because today you can do nafil, you can do another, you can do a qadha. So now there's muzahama. But in Ramadan there's no muzahama, Sharia hasn't ta'yin of this. Do you understand? Yes? Second ruling. وَإِن لَمْ يُؤَيِّنِ الشَّرْعُ لَهُ وَقْتًا فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَتَأَيَّنُ الْوَقْتُ لَهُ بِتَعْيِينِ الْعَبْدِ. Now if the Sharia has not specified a time, it does not become muta'ayyan from the abd doing ta'yin, meaning it does become muta'ayyan when it is niyyah, but it doesn't become muta'ayyan in such a way that ta'yin can't change. Are you following? When we say it doesn't become muta'ayyan, it means what? It doesn't become muta'ayyan in a way that it can no longer change. It's hard and fast now. It becomes muta'ayyan according to your niyyah, but not in such a way you can't change your niyyah anymore. You'll understand from here. حتى لو أين الأبد أياما لقضاء رمضان لا تتأين هي للقضاء ويجوز. Let's stop here. Okay. Let's say for example, in Ramadan I was traveling. I was unable to fast. So I missed 2 days. Correct? Yes? Now if I do niyyah, now on the 2nd of Shawwal I will do qadha. What will I do? Yeah. So if I do niyyah of 2nd of Shawwal and I do qadha, that's fine. يتعين بنيتي. But if I do niyyah in Ramadan, I'm going to fast 2nd of Shawwal and I carry out the qadha, it's fine. But if I want to change that niyyah, can I change that niyyah? Yeah. It doesn't become muta'ayyan in such a way that now it's hard and fast. أي so حتى لو أين العبد أياما لقضاء رمضان, if a person fixed some days for Ramadan, that look, just to make sure that I don't get lazy, immediately on the 2nd of Shawwal I will do qadha. لا يتأين, we can put here in the masdar, تأينا, I put my own masdar, لا يتأين تأينا لا يتغير. Yes? Do you understand? It does not become so muta'ayyan. It does not become so muta'ayyan that he cannot change it afterwards. Yeah, so it becomes muta'ayyan with his niyyah for qadha, but if before he starts the fast, what can he do? Change his mind. وَيَجُوزُ فِيهَا. On the 1st of Shawwal, when I made my niyyah that I'm going to fast, no, can't do 1st Shawwal, that's Eid day. 2nd Shawwal. The 2nd Shawwal, what can you do now? Your niyyah was before what? To do what? Qadha. But if you say, I have a kafara pending, I'll start with kafara first. Can you change your niyyah that you did earlier? Yes. يجوز فيها صوم الكفارة والنفل. If I say no, I want to nafil today instead. Okay, it's up to you. Yes. ويجوز قضاء رمضان فيها وغيرها. You can do anything, meaning your niyyah is not unchangeable. What's unchangeable? The ta'yin al-shara', not ta'yin al-abd. Do you understand? So when you do niyyah, qadha, it becomes qadha. But before, if you do niyyah and you want to change your niyyah before the fast starts, it's possible. Do you understand what he's saying here? Yes? So in Ma'yar, if it's muta'ayyin from the shara', there's no i'tibar of the niyyah. And if it's no ta'yin from the sharia, you have to ta'yin yourself. But the ta'yin is not so strong from the abd that he can no longer change it, and it has to be that. It can't be, okay, for me, I can only, if I do niyyah, that every single, let's say for example, a woman has a period normally 5 days every year, every month. So she said every single year, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th of Shawwal will be my qadha. Isn't it muta'ayyan? If she does qadha, it can do qadha. But it's not, okay, oh, I already did niyyah 1 year ago, I did niyyah 5 years ago, I did niyyah 6 years ago, so now I can't change this, it has to be qadha. It can't be nafil anymore, no. You can change your niyyah, because your niyyah, before the ibadah start, your ta'yin is not so strong that you can't change it anymore. Do you understand? Is everybody following? Does everybody following? Does everybody follow? Or is everybody following? Yes, makes sense to everybody? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem amma ba'd. So moving on, we now do al-Muqayyad bilwaqt and the Ma'yar, and the third hukam of this section. Correct? ومن حكم هذا النوع أنه يشترط تعيين النية لوجود المزاحم. That we said there are two types of niyyah, niyyatu ta'yin and niyyatu nafsul niyyah, aslul niyyah. So aslul niyyah is not even tahtul bahthi because that is a condition in all circumstances. However, when there is a muzahim, you need to have a niyyatu ta'yin, and we discussed that yesterday. And then he says here, ثم للعبد أن يوجب شيئا على نفسه مؤقتا أو غير مؤقت. Then you can do another. How do you make something compulsory upon yourself? By an oath, a vow. That wallahi I will do such and such a thing. So the abd now has the ability, the capacity, or he's allowed to make something compulsory upon himself. This can either be what? Muwaqqat or غير muwaqqat. Correct? For example, I am going to fast. So now you can make muwaqqat, I am going to fast on the 3rd of Shawwal. Or غير muwaqqat, I am going to fast a day. Muwaqqat, غير muwaqqat. فهمت? However, what is not allowed for him, وَلَيْسَ لَهُ تَغْيِيرُ حُكْمِ الشَّرْعِ. He is not allowed to change the ruling established by the Sharia. Okay? Yes, this qaida. So what's the thamara of this? The thamara of this, إِذَا نَذَرَ أَن يَصُومَ يَوْمًا بِعَيْنِهِ لَزِمَهُ ذَلِكَ. If the abd decides that I am going to fast on the 5th of Shawwal, له ذلك, لزمه ذلك, it becomes compulsory upon him. Because للعبد أن يوجب نفسا على شيئا على نفسه مؤقتا أو غير مؤقت. Correct? However, yes, so let's say for example you have this here. If he said أصوم يوم الثلاثاء, I'm going to fast on the day of Tuesday. Yes? So I had the Sunday, you have Ithnain, you have Thulatha, Arbi'a and Khamis. So now what's he done now? أوجب على نفسه شيئا مؤقتا. So لزمه النذر. Yes? Because now it's, yes? So now لزمه النذر. This is haqqullah. This is also going to be what? Muqayyad. Because what vow did he make? I am going to fast on which day? Wednesday, Tuesday, يوم الثلاثاء. فهم؟ अच्छा. So لو صامه عن قضاء رمضان حق. This is going to be, what will happen now? أو عن كفارة يمينه جازة. What we're seeing here now is he himself, he is allowed to say, I am going to fast on Wednesday, yes? Because the abd is allowed to do what? What's the abd allowed to do? The abd is allowed to make something compulsory upon himself, muwaqqat or غير muwaqqat. So if he says, I am going to assume, if he said, for example, asumu yawman, is also jaza, and asumu yawma thulatha is also jaza, is also permissible, correct? Make sense so far? Yes? Everybody following? Yes? Now, if he, on the day of Wednesday, on Tuesday, if he fast, what will happen now? It will be fine, jaza. Because he's done what? Fulfill his nadar. But instead of doing the nadar, what does he do? He says, oh, I'm going to fast qada Ramadan. Yes, he had a Ramadan fast, which is qada baki. Or he said, I'm going to start my kafara. For him. Now, what's happening here? This is also permissible. Why? Because the same way he's allowed to make the fast of Tuesday compulsory upon himself, he does not have the right to change the hukam of the Sharia. What's the hukam of the Sharia? The hukam of the Sharia, that qadha of Ramadan is mutlaq and the kafara of yameen is also, is it fixed for a particular day? No. It's wajib al-fawr, al-tarahi. Fahim? So now if we say that because of him taking a vow that I am going to fast on Tuesday, he's not allowed to fast the qadha of Ramadan, or he's not allowed to do a fast or kafara. What are we doing to these two? Huh? We make it muqayyad. We say these are only allowed other than Tuesday. Because Tuesday is now fixed for the nazar. So now we're saying the abd has changed the shari' hukam. The shari' hukam of mutlaq, we made it muqayyad. وَلَيْسَ لِلْعَبْدِ أَن يُغَيِّرَ حُكْمَ الشَّرْعِ. So we're saying that if he does another and he fasts another, nur ala nur. But if he were to change it, it's permissible. Because we say that this nazar that he has taken does not allow him to change the sharia hukam. So if he wants to carry out the nazar on Tuesday, nur ala nur, no problem. But if we say that because of his nazar, he's now changed the shari'i ruling. How has he changed the shari'i ruling? He has changed the shari'i ruling by making the qadha of Ramadan, which was allowed any day, to be allowed on a fixed day. Which is a fixed day? A day other than Tuesday. The kafara of yameen is 2 months, continuous fasting, anytime. But now we've said, no, it can't be on this Tuesday. So now by this nazar, if we take this nazar and we say he's not allowed to do these two, what are we doing now? Changing the hukm of the sharia from mutlaq to muqayyad. So the abd can do another and change and make something compulsory upon him, but he does not have the authority to change the sharia ruling. Do you get what we're saying here? If you go back now, what do we have here? And if you say sawmahu naflan, what will happen now? La yajuz. Because why? This is haqqullah, haqqullah, haqqullah. Yes? But the nafil is haqqul abd. If you want to, it's up to you. You don't want to, you can't. If you fast today, tomorrow, it's up to you. So now, if you fast a nafil, it won't count. Because the haqqul abd, Allah is muqaddam ala haqqul abd in here. So if you fast another, you fulfill your another, that's fine. If you fast a qadha Ramadan, that's fine, because we're not changing the hukam to say it's muqayyad. If you fast a kafara, it's fine. If you fast a nafil, we say no, what's muqaddam now? You got muzahama. You have muzahama, don't we? And the niyyah is only, so you have to have a niyyah. Or you have to have a ta'een from the shara'. And if he fasts in nafil on the yawm thulatha, we say your niyyah doesn't count. What counts? The ta'een of the sharia. Sharia say what comes first? The nazar over the nafil. Do you understand? So if you look at it here, let's summarize again. So on yawm thulatha, he takes oath. On this day, there is all three of these are equal. Correct? So now is there muzahama? There is. 3 things which are all equal in level. Because the nazar that he's made compulsory upon himself, the qadha of Ramadan, which is going to be the sharia haqq, can be done any day, and the kafara of yameen. So now here, there's muzahama. What does he have to do? Niyyah. Is this is level 1. What is this level? 2. So now, if is there muzah? No, you have to do niyyah or you have to have a ta'een. If he says, I am going to fast nafil, is it muzahama? Really? No, because it's not on the same level. It's a lightweight, heavyweight. So the nafil fast, niyyah doesn't count. Because they say, no, the sharia ta'een will count first here. Do you understand? So if he does this niyyah, we say this niyyah doesn't count because the sharia is already determined it's going to be nazar. Do you understand? So let's look at this here. Yes, so thumma lil abdi. So we're saying here, the abd has the ability to make something compulsory upon himself. And it can be made compulsory how? مُوَقَّةً أو غير مُوَقَّةٍ وَلَيْسَ لَهُ تَغْيِيرُ حُكْمِ الشَّرْعِ. And it's not permissible for him to change the Shari ruling. And the example of this is if he makes a vow that he will fast one particular day, what will happen? This will become compulsory upon him. وَلَوْ صَامَهُ أَنْ قَضَاءِ رَمَضَانَ أو أَنْ كَفَارَةِ يَمِينِهِ جَازَ. And if he were to fast make it a qadha Ramadan, make it a qadha fast, or if he were to make it a kafara of his yameen, is that permissible? Yes, because these are all 3 are the same level. These are all haqqullah, and you can't change the sharia hukam. So you can't say, oh, qadha is not compulsory, permissible here, because the sharia says it's permissible any day. You can't make the mutlaq muqayyad. لأن الشرع جعل القضاء مطلقا. Because the sharia has said that the qadha of Ramadan can take place any time. Similarly, the kafara of yameen can take place any time. The sharia has made these mutlaq. فلا يتمكن العبد من تغييره بتقييد غير ذلك اليوم. So the abd does not have the ability to change the ruling that what qadha is only permissible on X day, not Y day. بغير ذلك اليوم, saying it's only permissible on Tuesday, not on Tuesday. It's permissible every day other than the Tuesday. Because if you say this, you're now changing the Sharia ruling of Mutlaq into Muqayyad. Do you understand? Acha. Do you understand? Now he's saying, well, what about ولا يلزم على هذا إذا صامه النفل? What do we say here? حيث يقع عن المنظور لا أما نوى. If you were to fast a nafil, so لا يلزم, the question does not arise or should not arise upon this, on the situation, this scenario, if a person was to fast was he to fast? A nafil. يقع عن المنظور. What kind of fast will occur? Which fast will occur? Huh? The oath, not the nafil. Not لا أما نوى, not upon his niyyah. Why? لأن النفل حق العبد. What's nafil? حق العبد. إذ هو يستبد. استبد, he's independent. يستبد بنفسه, he's independent من تركه وتحقيقه. You want to perform 2 rakats now? Up to you. That's your choice. Pray, don't pray, it's up to you. It's encouraged to pray, better, nur la nur, but you don't have to. So he's independent in his decision to fast or not fast. So therefore the nafil is what? Haqqul abd, and the nadhar is haqqul. So when you have 2 things, what's muta'ayyan now? The one is a'la. So when you do a fast, the aslun niyyah is found, and the ta'ayyin comes from where? The sharia, not from his niyyah. Do you understand? So if he fasts on Tuesday, he has a niyyah of aslun niyyah of a fast. Will a fast count? Yes. Now, when you do niyyah, when there's muzahim. Now, is this muzahim? Because it's a lower level. So automatically what will occur? The nadhar, not the nafil. Because the nafil niyyah is haqqul abd. Haqqul abd is what? Lower level. Is there muzahim for the seat, the teacher's seat? No, there's only 1 teacher in class. There's 2 students, so it's me and you, but this is the teacher's seat, and there's somebody there. For him? So now what do we have? There's no muzahama for this seat. Because only 1 person is mustahiq. So if you say, well, okay, we've only got 1 seat here and there's 2 people in class, well, it doesn't matter because the other students are going to sit where they want to sit. Are you following me? So when you say here, you have two niyyah. So for the fast to count, first of all, you have to have aslun niyyah. That's done. Now the other niyyah is only mu'tabar when there's muzahama. Now what's it versus? Nadhar versus who? Nadhar versus nafil. Do you need judge's decision? He knocked him out. So he's automatically winner. You don't need a judge to decide. So your niyyah is not mu'tabar. Because who's going to win in this one? Who's muqaddam? Nadhar. So you only need ta'yeen of niyyah to ta'yeen when there's a muzahama, and nafil doesn't matter with nadhar. So automatically what's going to happen? The ta'yeen in the sharia will count. Does that make sense? Are you following? Do you understand how it's working? Online, you guys following? Okay, the question is there not muzahama here? So yes, there is muzahama here. That's why his ta'yeen will be valid here. That's why his ta'yeen, we say, well, do ta'yeen. So his niyyah is mu'tabar in here now, because all 3 of these are haqqullah. These are all on the same level. So therefore his niyyah to ta'yeen is mu'tabar in here. If it is niyyah of nadhar, it will count. If it is niyyah of qada Ramadan, it will count. Niyyah of kafara, it will count. Because the niyyah is mu'tabar in here. And when he does niyyah of nafil, nafil niyyah doesn't count, so it's not muzahama. So this will count, nadhar will be fixed. Do you understand? You following? G. Any other questions? Moving on. وعلى اعتبار هذا المعنى أي هذا المعنى هذا الأصل, based on this أصل, قال مشايخنا أو مشايخ say now what's he saying here? Like it's not to do with now muwaqqad and غير muwaqqad, but the principle of haqqullah and haqqul ibad, he's the far on that. Yes. إذا شرطا في الخلء, when the husband and wife make a shart in khula. What's khula? Husband and wife are married. The husband doesn't want to give divorce. The wife said, okay, you don't want to give divorce, I'll give my mahar back to you and you just nullify the nikah. Fahim? That's called khula. Then they're reading Kaduri. So if the husband and the wife put a condition, la nafaqata laha wa la sukna, that during the khula, when she has what? When she's in an iddah, after the khula. She will not be entitled to spending money, nor will she be entitled to any accommodation, because it is the right of the wife's right. She's entitled to compensation, her spending money during her iddah, and she also has to be housed. That's her right. But if they say, okay, the condition is you will not get any spending money, you will not get any accommodation. سقطت النفقة دون السكنة. Why? Nafaqa is what? Haqqul abd. We say this is haqqul abd. So she has the right to say, okay, I don't want nafaqa. Sukna is haqqullah. The abd does not have the right to do what? وَلَيْسَ لِلْعَبْدِ أَن يُغَيِّرَ حُكْمَ الشَّرْعِ وَلَهُ أَن يُغَيِّرَ حُكْمَ الْعَبْدِ. Huh? Haqqullah haqqu shar'i. Yes? So the nafaqa is her right. She can forfeit it. But she still has the right. So if she said no, if after this she says, I want my sukna, she still has sukna. This condition of no sukna is null and void. It's laghwa. It doesn't even count. Because you don't have the right to negate that. حتى لا يتمكن الزوج من إخراجها عن بيت العدة. Even when she's in a waiting period, the husband cannot remove her from the house. She is entitled to stay in his house until the iddah is finished. Do you understand? Because why? Because لأن السكنى في بيت العدة حق الشرعي فلا يتمكن العبد من إسقاطه, and the abd cannot do إسقاط of حق الله حق الشرع بخلاف النفقة, because النفقة is حق العبد. Because حق العبد, she can do إسقاط of it if she wishes. So this masala is basically based on the fact that it's not to do with muwaqqat and ghayr muwaqqat. This is to do with حق الله and حق العباد, which is based upon the nazar and the nafil fast. So when you have a nafil and nazar, what will have taqdeem? The nazar, because that's haqqullah, haqqul shar'i, and the nafil is haqqul abdi. For him, you get how it's flowing? So they kind of like, again, he's not like trying to cheat a beginner, but he's just like giving all the principles to then prove the masala. Nafaqa, it is, everything, no, it's not, that's not, it is muwaqqat in terms of everything happens in time. Remember, everything happens in space and time.
Sunnah, you have to give, it's muwaqqat for the whole iddah. And nafaqa is no time.
In the aspect, but that's not the top, that's not what it does have that, but that's not what we're talking about here. The istidlal he's doing from this masala is when you have haqqul abdi and haqqul shari and haqqul abdi. Haqqul shari, you can't do isqat of haqqul shari. You following? But you can do isqat of haqqul abdi.
Because nafaqa is no muwaqqat.
Yeah, but what we're saying, he's not talking about that in this masala. That's not what he's looking at. He's trying, from this fara, he's trying to prove that the haqqul abd and haqqul shari. He's not trying to talk about muwaqqat here. To link back to the previous masala where you have two fasts, and the two fasts you have haqqul shari, haqqul abd. You can do isqat, so the what's muqaddam, the haqqul shari, which is another, and the haqqul abd, which is secondary level.
But could you bring the muwaqqat?
He's not talking about that.
Even though he's not, but could you say?
And to prove what?
Because sunnah is a muwaqqat for it.
And what will that prove?
Nafaqa is also.
And what does that prove?
Which comes to the same point, but it's using different.
He's not talking about that. That's not the mustadal here. The mustadal is about haqqul shari, haqqul abd. Any questions? Yes? So if we go again, what do we say? What do we say here? What's the masla? Let's drop the masla. The masla is aslun niyya. Yes, for all ibadah you have to have what? Aslun niyya. And after that you have to have niyyatut ta'yin. Why? To differentiate. But a need to ta'yin. What is need to ta'yin is either ta'yin al-shar'i or then ta'yin al-abdi. Yes? For him, so you have to do aslun in all ibadat. There's nothing to do with that. They have to do ta'yin. But what comes before what's if you have a clash between ta'yin al-abd and ta'yin al-shara, what happens? Ta'yin al-shara. What's the example of this? Nadar versus nafil. So you say nadar will take place because ta'yin al-shara. And if you have there's no ta'yin al-shara. For example, you have nadar versus qadha versus or what? Kafara. Then the niyat al-awwal will take choice here. You understand? Does everybody understand? So for example, it's not here based on Nur, Anwar and Manar, etc. If a person is doing a nafil fast in Ramadan, today I am going to fast a nafil fast in Ramadan, what will occur? The Ramadan fast. Why? Because Ramadan haqqul shari, nafil is what? فهمت؟ Yes. If you were in Ramadan and you fasted a qadha, you're not musafir. You're not a musafir. What are you? You're muqim and you're sahih. If you make a niyyah qadha in Ramadan, what will take place? The qadha or the ada of Ramadan. The ada, because between ada and qadha was muqaddam. So there's no muzahama. So your niyyah to abd does not count. Is that clear to everybody? Yes? Okay, let's stop here, inshallah. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك